All right. Hey, Coach, I'll get us started. So obviously you guys have been in this position, I think more than most teams across the country have been, with games getting canceled, be it for you guys or for the opponent's team. How do you deliver that news every time, and how do you kind of keep spirits high in a group of guys that I'm sure as athletes kind of rely on that structure and that kind of routine?
It's a great question. It's from somebody who played at Wyoming, not at Colorado State. It is difficult. Greg was at practice yesterday. It was the worst practice we've had all season long. The night before, we got cleared at 9:30 p.m. Our test results had come back from the morning. We were all negative. We were waiting. We wanted to practice at 9. Usually those results are back in by 8, so we pushed it back. Finally, they all flooded in, and our trainer said we're clear. So we practiced the night before from 9:30 to 11 p.m. They went to bed, woke up. We did film scout on Central Oklahoma in the morning. We then did an early practice, mostly free throws and just system stuff for about an hour and a half. Gave them 2 hours off and then went to the second practice. Before that second practice started, we informed them that the game was not taking place. So, I mean, it's just these young men have been so resilient, but it finally gets to a point, too, where it's tough to keep motivated. They did everything they were supposed to do over Christmas break. They stayed safe, they stayed protected, and they got lucky, of course. I mean, this isn't something that you choose to get, but there are things you can do to be irresponsible to up your chances. And our guys did everything they could, and we're all mentally prepared. And again, it was a terrible practice, but again, I don't know what else to say to the young men other than to expect the unexpected, take control of what we can control, all the cliche stuff, and then just get right back to work again. We do have an older group. I think we'll be ready for Saturday. But it kind of messes Saturday's game up too, because now Newman gets to knock all their rust off against Wichita State tonight. We don't get that. And we're going to play our first game back then, and it just changes the whole dynamics of everything. But nobody's feeling sorry for us. We got to take care of business and do everything we can to prepare our guys.
Austin Downing's having a pretty nice year for you guys. Now that you guys have a few games kind of under your belt, how do you feel about his performance so far this year? And has he kind of met your expectation level, what you expected coming in?
Austin is a gamer. When the games show up, he's ready to play. His family is in the stands. He's from here. So this means more to Austin than it does to the average player. He's out to prove something, and not from an individual. He's posted numbers his whole career, so it's not about that for Austin. It's about winning. It's about competing. It's about doing it, an hour and a half from where he went to high school in Lawrence. His grandfather's a legend in the States at Benedictine College in Atchison, where he's originally from. And, there's a family dynamic to it for Austin that adds an extra gear of motivation for him every time he steps on the floor come game time. And he's been a game changer for us. With him and Jamari, we feel like we have one of the best backcourts in the MIAA. And whatever 3 guys want to play alongside those guys, we got a ton of depth at that 3, 4, and 5 spots. And whatever guys playing the hardest and is on making shots can space the floor that night, it makes us really dynamic. But Austin right now, every game he's played has been very he's been exceptional, but he's also been very mature, and he's been a great leader. He's been the change that this team needs from a veteran standpoint at that quarterback position, that point guard position on the basketball court.
When all the games keep getting postponed, obviously that's very disappointing, but do you see improvement with your team in the way that they're able to adapt to it now that it's happened multiple times?
You're asking that after I just said that we had the worst practice ever. So the answer is no, Pete. I do not see improvement. But this one was really unique too, because again, it's just constant. It's just constant of on building momentum, off, on building momentum, off, and we've won along the way. And it's do we handle it better? I can best answer that question, Pete, on Saturday to see how we respond. Once we found this out, we had a bad practice yesterday. We decided, let's give them. They're off today. we decided to blow their lungs out yesterday. So we changed how we operated in that second practice and just kind of killed them at the end of it and then give them the day off. Try to make that more like a game day for them. So hopefully we can get some, got some cardio conditioning in so when we play Newman on Saturday, we're more prepared. But at the end of the day, as coaches, we can push so many buttons. It's a player's game. It always has been. It always will be. And that motivation coming from us is one thing, but it needs to come from within. It has come from within so far this season, and we look forward to taking the floor on Saturday to compete some more.
What is it about the first 5 games going into the Christmas break that really has you excited about this team?
Well, we're old, and I think that's paid dividends for us. But we've also combined that with having roster balance for developing players. That you see Mayun Boom as a freshman who's been just exceptional. Our sophomore play from Gage McGuire, Mason Thiessen has been good. We have juniors playing well, just across the board. Obviously, our 5 seniors that see the floor the most are anchoring us. But not only is this a year for us this year, going through what we're going through, but it's also building what we're trying to do into the future, and that makes us excited now, Greg, and it makes us excited for the years to come.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to talk to you about Dallas Bayley. He's more than doubled his point average from last year, even though he's only playing 3 or 4 minutes more per game and shooting something like 52% from 3. What do you credit to his improvement from last year to this year, and how valuable he is for this team?
All coaching. So yeah, that was all coaching. In all seriousness, Dallas couldn't make a shot the first 5 weeks of practice. See, we stat everything, we chart everything. And in practice stats, he was just terrible. And he's not terrible. He was shooting it terrible. The thing about Dallas is even when he's not shooting, he adds so much value to the court because he is one of our best rebounders and he does it from the guard position. And he's also one of our best defenders. So even if he's not shooting, he adds value. So he's always going to have chances to get shots up. Some guys, if they're hitting, you play them. If they're missing, they better not be on the court because they're not doing anything else. Dallas is completely different. He's seen some shots going. He's a good shooter. His practice stats weren't good when he was guarded, but his open shots that we chart were always top 5 on the team. So we know he can shoot it, and now it's just a mental thing for him. He's coming off that foot, that broken foot last year. And we played UCO and he hit 4 threes against them last year to help us beat UCO at home. That was our last win actually of last season. And then he broke his foot, one of 3 upperclassmen to have season-ending injuries. And I think he has something to prove. I think he shows up every day a little more hungry, and he also has a little family dynamic too. He always has family in town, and they've moved here from Denver where he's from. And again, there's just extra motivation. Not only you're playing for number one, your team and yourself, but you're playing for others outside of that realm. And he's hungry. So what we love about Dallas too is, we kind of want him to come off the bench because then we get better when we come off the bench offensively. But we just can't. We got to a point we can't do it. We have to start him, and he's just going to have to play more. And that's not a bad thing either. So. It's some great questions on his percentages, but he played well in junior college. He's just a high character guy. He's one of our best kids academically, and we're excited for him because you can just see this little sparkle in his eye now, this pep in his step when he's walking in the White Auditorium and when he's in our facilities. He's pretty excited about what's going on. Awesome, guys. Anything else? We good?
I think we're good.
Austin, good up, man. Thank you. You can take it off when you go over here. Have a good interview, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
So obviously kind of a bummer with this week's game postponed. What's it been like for you guys as players having to continually deal with these challenges like this?
It's been mentally frustrating for sure. But I think we just got to look at it as we're not the only team going through this. Everyone else in the conference is going through problems in their own different ways, and this has just been ours so far. And as Coach says, we just try to stick together as much as we can, and then just see what the next day brings. So,
you're off to a pretty good start this year. How would you describe yourself as a basketball player?
I don't know. I just like having fun. I've been playing it a long time. It's huge in my family. It means a lot to us. So I don't know. I just like getting my teammates involved as much as possible. Just trying to, see smiles on everyone's faces. Just make everyone happy in any way possible. If that's yelling at them, if it's hyping them up a little bit, or just whatever the case may be. I just try to bring some fun to the game. So.
And what's it been like, kind of jumping into this team? Because you guys have a lot of experienced pieces, but a lot of new guys still too. So what's it kind of been like with everybody kind of joining together like that?
I think that just goes to show like how good the coaches, recruited as far as, personalities, how people would get along, things like that. Because from my first day on campus, meeting the guys and going through workouts and stuff, I knew right away I was going to fit in. It seems like everyone here is here for each other and is about more than just themselves. So.
Did that catch you by surprise a little bit that you were accepted as quickly as you did? And to me, being around basketball a lot, sometimes it takes a while for a person to adjust and to fit in. But you made it look seamless.
I think that is, like I said, goes to show how good of teammates I have. They've, since the first day we started doing organized stuff as a team, it's like they've known me for a long time. They were telling me keep shooting if I wasn't making a shot, or they were telling me they had my back, and stuff like that. And, when you're hearing that as a new player, you're like, I'm saying, okay, it was kind of weird. At first you're like, oh, they're probably thinking, oh, who's this guy? That's not the shot he should be taking. Like, that's the thoughts going through my head. But, just talking with them and seeing how they react to certain things in practice, I knew right away that, it was a great team and everyone's for each other. So.
Hey, Austin, as a leader on this team, how do you kind of rally your guys when you keep getting hit with this adversity week after week to keep morale up and to stay focused?
I think it just goes back to saying how we just try to take everything one day at a time and never know what the next day brings. I'm not going to lie. A couple of my teammates had to, pick me up yesterday. I was kind of down. We were all excited. We thought we were getting ready to play today. And then, before practice, he just lets us know that we weren't having one. And, that kind of – it hurt me on the inside because I'm like, man, we just came back from break. We were all excited to keep going. And it's just one of them things where everyone just leaned on each other like, hey, like, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. And, just see what tomorrow brings. So.
And I think unless anybody else has anything, thanks, Austin. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Take this mask back.